Greetings. This is Justin Allen with the Elite Nurse Practitioner. Welcome to the Elite Nurse Practitioner Show, a podcast dedicated to nurse practitioner entrepreneurism and achieving financial freedom, where I talk directly with nurse practitioners who need help. Listen up, our market is saturated. Jobs can be scarce. We are underpaid. We are undervalued. We are taken advantage of by the sharks within the healthcare system. And frankly, screw that. Sick of it. And it's time for a change. And listen, I'm here to help make that happen. We are powerful. We can forge a path where we are in control of our career and ultimately our financial and personal well-being. You do not need to submit to healthcare administrators and your doctor overlords. You do not have to take the measly salary. You do not have to work 50 to 60 hours a week. There is a different way, and I'm here to show you that path. This podcast is raw and unfiltered. I have not talked with the nurse practitioners in this podcast prior to the call outside of an email exchange to schedule the episode. What you're about to listen to is a consultation session between a nurse practitioner and myself. It is real, it is unscripted, it is unplanned, and I have no idea what we're going to talk about. Anything and everything can happen during our conversation. The nurse practitioners in these episodes are struggling with an issue in their professional or financial life, and they have reached out to me for help. My goal is to help a nurse practitioner with actionable advice that will enhance and improve their professional, business, and financial life. My other goal is to hopefully help my nurse practitioner sisters and brothers build a more productive, powerful, and free life. So I hope the content and information within these podcast episodes does just that. All right, onto the episode. Hi, everyone. Today we'll be talking to Meg, who is a family nurse practitioner. Currently, she is working at a nursing school teaching RNs, but she's getting ready to leave that to start her own business. She's wanting to start a wellness and aesthetics practice, and she's needing help with managing her finances after she leaves her job, how to hire a provider when the time comes, and what are the best services that she can provide for the best return on investment and what's going to be in demand, basically. So, hey, Meg, how are you?
I'm doing well. Thanks. How are you?
I'm good. Thanks for hopping on here. So tell us a little bit about yourself. How long you been a nurse practitioner for and what you've been up to?
Okay. I became a nurse practitioner in 2014 and worked as a nurse practitioner for the most part until, probably 7 years ago. And I had my twins, and I thought a better option would be to be more available for them. So having a teaching position was really ideal. And that's what I've been doing the last 7 years. But I went back into NP part time, working at a walk in clinic or a same day clinic here in town about a day every other week so I could kind of keep my skills up. I actually had to re-challenge my test because I hadn't worked in 5 years. So I retook my test and got back into working.
Yeah. Okay. So you're going to leave the teaching position and you're going to start your own practice. So I guess what made you what, what provoked that decision for you?
Well, I enjoyed a lot of parts of my job, but not every part, and things would change pretty regularly. Me only being there 7 years, we've had a pretty good influx of new people working. So students are getting different as well. You and I both know AI is up and coming and not going anywhere. And I just kind of felt like sometimes students didn't really care as much as I did. And I was working harder for them to get a grade than they were, unfortunately. And it's not every student. It's just, things kind of build up and you're like, okay, I'm ready for something different. The other thing is I am a single mom and I take care of my kiddos, and I also have my mother living with me so I can help take care of her. So I just really wanted more autonomy with my time so I could hop out and take mom to an appointment or hop out and go help the kids at school with things. So that was really autonomy for my time, I would say, would be the biggest factor.
Yeah, sure. Fair enough. That makes sense. Yeah, I'm not even going to get on the pedestal about the AI thing. I think I couldn't imagine teaching at a university with AI now. You've basically just given a tool that does all the thinking for you and all the work to you. You've just given this tool to the morons of the general public. I mean, what do you expect? I mean, when you consider 50% of people have an IQ of less than 100, I mean, God help us.
Right.
I mean, it's like,
Right.
oh, Jesus Christ, Yeah. Yeah. So I don't blame you there. Yeah. I don't think I would ever teach at a university right now. It would drive me nuts.
Yeah.
All right. Anyways, though. Okay. So, that makes total sense. Okay, so you're wanting to start a wellness practice with doing some aesthetics. So I guess first things first, is in your area, is there competition? Are you going to have to, kind of really fight for patients?
It's not too bad. There is one other aesthetics clinic in town, but they've kind of gone through some kerfuffles. I live in a town of just under 10,000 people.
Okay.
So there's not a lot. People drive places right now 30 minutes, 20, 30 minutes to get talks. Same with HRT. They'll drive out of town to get HRT. We do have GYNs in town that can offer that, but I think a lot of times the GYNs are more pressured, not pressured, but they've got a patient population that's delivering babies. So they don't, they may have to cancel last minute or just
Mm.
run off in the middle of the night and deliver babies. So, it's not like their bread and butter.
Yeah, GYNs aren't the best people for HRT unless they actually know how to do it, and most of them just don't. They've been trained to, here's your synthetic bull hormone, here's your birth control that you're going to take for, not birth control, but for other things. That's a synthetic hormone. It's just like
Hmm.
garbage.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so all right. So you don't have much competition. That's a good sign. I mean, you should do well. If there's another practice in town that offers aesthetics, so you're gonna have that competition, but there's no one in town doing HRT and those sorts of things. You're gonna take that market and you're gonna take it fairly quickly. So this probably has some pretty good potential with it, I would think. I've talked to some other people on this podcast and, doing some private consulting for people, and 10,000 people really seems to be a sweet spot for practices if there's not a lot of
Yeah.
competition. Like, I mean, I've known people who generate $1 million a year in a town of 10,000 people. I mean,
That's
it's just,
amazing.
yeah, it's a sweet spot. It really is. And you're gonna be pulling people from in the county as well, not just the town. So you could probably do very, very well here. So yeah, so that's a good sign. Okay, so you're gonna offer HRT, weight loss, peptides. I'm imagining you're gonna do some aesthetic stuff too, talks and stuff. So
Yeah, I
tell
haven't
us about
gotten
what
a
you're
whole
doing.
sorry, I haven't gotten a whole lot into peptides other than the
Okay.
GLP-1s. So,
Okay. Um, so what services are you planning on offering then, for the most part?
well, from the get-go, I want to keep it simple, with, of course, Botox and HRT. I just need to get my models and things together of how is that going to work, like a monthly model of here's the revenue and things. And I've been working through Claude and I'm working through ChatGPT to kind of get ideas of, what would be good in this area. So I'm wanting to stay small at first and eventually work into functional medicine overall. Just I'm very interested in that as well. So,
Okay. Yeah, you don't want to go guns blazing here. I mean, just start, with just a handful of services and call it a day. HRTs are probably going to be one of the largest service lines that you'll have in terms of revenue goes. So yeah, I think that those services should work. Um, word of caution with the aesthetics, don't buy too much supply at first. All right. I've heard it over and over again that people buy a bunch of supply and, get expire. Same thing with like ID infusion, vitamins and stuff like that. So
mm,
just ease into it a little bit, kind of see what the demand's like, and then go from there. Um, I'm assuming you've taken some of our courses. I'm assuming for this
yes.
stuff. Yeah. Okay. So
Yes.
you have a general idea on how to start this thing up.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. I say yes because I'm about halfway through one and I've got a few more waiting for me. So
Okay.
I
All right.
really plan on getting on the ball. Um, like my first week out, which will be the first week in July, is I'm just going to do talks. I'm just going to focus on that so I can kind of have the other time to really study and really feel like I've got my feet under me, you know?
Yeah, yeah, okay. So then let's utilize our time efficiently here then. So you have the courses. So I'm not going to talk to you about a bunch of startup stuff because you got everything there. The important thing that we need to talk about is, what's going to be a little bit different for you is how you're going to market the thing and then also how you're going to price it. So let's talk about those two things just real quick. So for pricing, okay, I can't tell you what to price this stuff at because everywhere's different. All right. The rule of thumb with pricing, okay, just general rule of thumb, is whatever it costs you, you basically 1.5 to 2x it. So if it costs $100, you charge $200 for it, right? That's like general rule of thumb, all right? Um, but what you need to do is you need to call around, okay? There's no competition in your town really outside that aesthetics clinic. So obviously see what they're charging, right?
Mhm.
But call around the region and see what these HRT practices and these wellness practices are charging in your region. Come up, get it just, and then come up with an average of what that is. All right. And then you'll be able to really determine what your prices are. Whatever the average comes out to be, I'd cut it down by 5 to 10%. Okay. That'll get people in the door because you're going to be the cheapest option. All right. For people that are around your area, you're going to be the cheapest option plus the most convenient option. It's a win-win, right? So definitely just do that. That's all you got to do. Okay. It's very simple. You're going to want to build some subscription models into this. So, one of the first main questions that you had was, before we started recording, you basically said, how do I manage my finances? How do I replace the income that I'm losing, right? How do I replace that as fast as possible? So, um, so if you create a subscription-based model, it's going to be a very predictable income for you because it snowballs, it just rolls over, it compounds every single month, right? You have 10 patients giving you $100 and you got 30 patients, then you got 40 patients, then you got 50 patients. It just exponentially grows. So for you to generate $5,000 to $6,000 of profit to replace the income that you just lost, it's probably going to take you about 3 months. All right.
Mhm.
Probably. I'm being very modest here. Okay. Like realistically, probably take you about, it's going to take you about 2 to 3 months. Okay. It could take a little bit longer. That's possible, but I would think about 3 months. All right. So you're going to have to just kind of buckle down for a few months. So with the subscription based pricing, see if the other places are charging that as well. If they are, then it'll give you a good baseline. It'll give you a good average. Okay. You can just kind of just copy what they do. All right. But generally speaking, with HRT, 150 to $200 a month seems to be about the going rate, and that includes the hormones, the supplies that might be needed for it, needles, syringes, alcohol wipes, whatever, and that includes the visits. That's pretty much it. Okay, labs are always going to be separate, charged separate for labs. All right. Create an account with Access Medical Labs. That's who I recommend to everyone because they give people who are Elite MP members really good discount prices. So when you create an account with Access Medical Labs, just mention Elite MP, and you get a super discounted lab rate. So basically, it's like a full men's health panel will cost you like $120 or something. You charge the patient
Nice.
200, 250 for it, whatever you want. So you make a little profit on that. Okay.
Mhm.
So you just charge separately for labs or let patients use their insurance for labs if they want to. All right. By allowing patients to use insurance, you price in patients to pay you cash. Okay. You don't make money on labs, you make money on the service. So if they're going to use their insurance, just give them a lab order and tell them to go wherever they want. Go to the hospital, go to a lab corp, go to Quest, go wherever. Okay. And then they'll fax you the results. So that's just general rule of thumb with pricing. You can do subscriptions for aesthetics. I mean, you can do subscriptions for just about anything. So you're gonna have to just do a little bit of research. I would not trust ChatGPT, Claude, or Gemini to give you those pricing suggestions because Claude, ChatGPT, Gemini can only pull that information if it's published online. A lot of clinics do not put their pricing on their website. So you will not get an accurate number using AI to do that for you. It is best to just call and ask what the prices are. Just act like you're a patient. Okay.
Right.
Just whatever. Take you an hour to call everywhere in the area and get the pricing. Okay. So
Mhm.
so yeah. So anyways, any questions about basically the pricing aspect of it?
I don't think so as far as, that type of model. The other thing is with it being new, I was thinking if I did, start out with, the first week in Botox and just trying to build that side up. I just feel like that one's kind of the quicker turnaround financially. If it's like, okay, I need to make X amount of dollars, I need X amount of tox patients or whatever.
Yeah, the margins aren't that great. That's the problem with talks. You're not there are very few aesthetic clinics out there that make money on Botox. They just don't. Like from a lot of people that I've talked with who do aesthetics and have med spa practices and stuff, the Botox is just kind of what you get them in the door with. It's the
Hmm.
hook. You get them
Yeah.
in the door and then you sell them on other stuff. That's kind of what I've heard. I don't do aesthetics though, so and it could be different. If there's not a lot of competition in your area, then it's not a race to the bottom like in most places. Most places aesthetics is a race to the bottom, okay? So I would say switch that strategy because I don't think Botox is going to be something that's going to replace that income as fast as you think it's going to do. I really don't, unless there is a huge demand for it and they're willing to pay premium prices for Botox,
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, what's the other place charging for it? Do you know?
Anywhere from 10 to 12. It seems like if you're at 10, it's very minimal margins, but um
Yeah, you're not going to make any money and it's going to
mhm,
completely take up all of your time for
right.
nothing.
Right.
Okay. So the Botox, if I was you, you just offer it. It's just a service. That's it. Do not focus on that. You need to focus on HRT. I'm telling you, because the margin's 50, 60, 70%. All right.
Right.
Botox, it's like 10 if you're lucky.
Yeah.
Okay. So with the HRT, the margin is perfect and it's monthly and it's predictable. And once people get started on the hormone replacement therapy, they never stop. Okay.
Yeah.
So it just exponentially grows every single month. Your turnover rate is quite low with HRT. Botox, you do the injections, you see them 3 to 6 months later, maybe, you know, maybe. So,
Yeah.
um, so anyways, if I was you, I would switch that strategy. Focus on the HRT. That's going to be what's going to be the biggest bang for your buck, the best return on your investment, that and weight loss. So that's what you need to focus on. Botox is there. You do it. It's there. Cool. Fantastic. Offer these aesthetic services. They're there. But I would not focus on those. Okay. They're there. You slowly grow it. And aesthetics practice is something that's grown over time. All right. HRT practices are grown over time as well, but you can grow quickly. So, yeah, aesthetics practice typically get done. It takes many years. Keep that in mind.
Yeah.
And here's a tip.
Mm.
Do not, do not buy some aesthetic medical device. Okay? Do not. Don't even think about it. You will have salesmen come into your practice to try to sell you on some laser or some bull thing that you'll finance and it'll cost you $120,000 and you'll finance it and you're gonna be screwed and locked into that for 5, 6, 7 years of payments. So
Mm.
do not. If they come to your practice, say thanks but no thanks, and kick them out the door. Like don't get suckered into it. All right.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
um okay. So any questions? Any questions there or any hesitations?
All right. I hope everyone's enjoying the episode so far. I just wanted to take a quick break to thank everyone listening and also give a big thank you to all of my social media followers and email subscribers. If you haven't done so yet, please subscribe to our email list at www.elitenp.com and make sure to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. Email subscribers will receive updates on new weekly podcast episodes, multiple weekly articles we publish, new courses, and everything else related to helping you succeed. Remember, all Elite Nurse Practitioner courses are designed to help you build a niche practice, increase your financial strength, and to break free from the rat race. If I can break free and the other countless nurse practitioners can break free, then so can you. Additionally, please share this podcast with your other nurse practitioner sisters and brothers out there. The more NPs that venture out on their own, the stronger our profession will become. Now, Let's get back to the episode.
I think my question, and like I say, I haven't gotten as deep into the hormone side of things, but I wonder when you're going to charge 150 to $200 and you're including the medication, are you doing like pellets? Are you doing shots? Are you doing, because I've, personally, it's just been sent to like the pharmacy or, you know, I don't
Yeah.
know.
Well, when you take our courses, we'll talk to you, we explain the process, but so you're gonna use a compound pharmacy, right?
Okay. Yeah.
You will send the script to the compounding pharmacy for a vial of testosterone or 3 hormone cream for a woman with progesterone, estrogen in it, and testosterone or whatever. They ship it to the patient's house, all right, and they just charge you, all right. So the vial of, let's just say, a vial of testosterone is going to cost you $30, give or take. Okay,
Hmm.
that one bottle should last the patient 2 months, and you're charging $150 a month.
Gotcha.
That's it. The rest of it's profit, right?
Okay.
Yeah. So with pellets, if you're going to be doing pellets, pellets are you pay for it all at one time because you're not going to put 6 months of pellets into someone and be like, okay, see you later. Just pay me $150 a month. You could just leave at any time if you want. I can't dig those pellets out of you,
No.
With a bottle of testosterone or some cream, yeah, they might screw you over for 1 month and they're not getting a refill until they pay, you know what I mean? So
Right.
with pellets, it's all up front, you know what I mean? $700, $800, $1,000, something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then, as far as, keeping track of who's in your list and all that kind of stuff, I'm guessing EMR systems will have all of that in there to pull the money out automatically and nothing on the back end that I need to do with that once I've done the administrative putting them in the system, basically.
Yeah, yeah, you can use an EMR for your payment processor, but I don't recommend it because they can be a little strict. Um, they can just stop the merchant processor account within your EMR, then you're screwed. You don't have a merchant processor. I recommend using a separate merchant processor, okay, outside of your EMR. I mean, there's hundreds of these things, okay. I mean, there's Clover. I wouldn't use Square. They typically like to ban medical practice accounts for some reason.
Yeah.
Clover's a good one. QuickBook Go Payments. There's so many of them. Okay. If
Cool.
you want it, and if you want to just Google and shop around, you can just go to Google and type in high risk payment processors. You have
Gotcha.
to put the high risk in there though, because unfortunately the powers that be deem HRT and aesthetics a high risk business for payment processing. I don't know why, but okay. So
Hmm.
yeah. So a separate payment processor. My recommendation is to have two. A main one, you have a backup just in case.
Gotcha.
Because sometimes they just like to just ban accounts for no reason at all. And
Hmm.
they don't and they don't have to give you an explanation. They just ban it. So have an extra one, have one on the side just in case.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Now, I know this sounds silly, but also like I have another friend that started a business maybe a few months back, and one thing she's mentioned is like credit card fees and things like that. I mean, there's just no getting around that, is there? I mean, how would you price? Would you just be like, okay, I just need to, that's where you come in and do the 1.5 to 2 times what you've spent on it situation?
The 2.5-3% credit card fees, it's a cost of doing business. There's nothing you can do about it.
Yeah.
Okay. It just is what it is. You can charge the patients, you can make the patients pay for it if you want, but you're charging $150 a month. The 3%, it's just you just write it off. It is what it is.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So just don't worry about it. Don't don't have the payment processor fees affect how you price. It's 2.53%. That's just what it's going to be. It is what it is.
Right.
So, yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Any other questions there?
No, I don't think as far as like payments and things like that go.
Okay.
Um, I really like your information on, how things can just grow exponentially when you've got kind of that model of every month. I guess I'm thinking Now, as far as following up on a monthly basis, like what are we talking about for $150 to $200?
Most HRT patients, you're going to follow up with them every 3 months.
Okay.
And then once they're dialed in, every 6.
Mm,
So you're making $150 a month, $200 a month, and you only see the patient twice a year. Like
right.
it
Right.
takes you spend a whole 20 minutes with that patient in a year because once they're dialed in, the follow-up visits take 10 minutes.
Right.
So you're spending 20 minutes a year with this patient and you're making $2,000 a year off that. I mean,
Wow, that's crazy.
do that
That's
with aesthetics. It's just not
yeah,
going to happen.
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah,
And if they can drive somewhere and save $2 on 40, 50 units, they're gonna do it to save $100 over coming to me.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, and to save on gas, it's just the convenience of it
Yeah,
too. You're there. I can come here versus driving 45 minutes down the road. They're 100% going to take advantage of that.
Yeah.
And most people generally like to support local businesses, They just do. Most people do.
Yeah. That's true.
Yeah.
I agree.
Um, so let's talk about, I know you want to talk about hiring a nurse practitioner, like those considerations of hiring another provider. So, um, I think it's something you don't need to worry about right now, to be honest with you.
Yep.
Okay. Most people do not hire another provider for at least a year or two. Okay. General rule of thumb is that if you are booking out 2 to 3 weeks in advance, okay, you are so busy, you have a full schedule. And when someone calls, a new patient calls, and you have to book them out 2 or 3 weeks in advance, all right? When you hit that point, that's when it's time to hire another provider, okay?
That's true.
You are not going to be there for a while, okay?
Yeah.
Now, fingers crossed, hopefully you maybe 6 months. Okay, maybe in 6 months you're there. Okay, fantastic. If you I mean 6 months from now you're booking out 2 or 3 weeks ahead, you're killing it. You're doing very very well. Okay, but I doubt it. From what I've seen, it usually takes 1 to 2 years to get into that position. So, to be honest with you, my advice to you is to not even worry about it. I would basically take that idea, put it in a box somewhere, and revisit it a year or two from now. If you're if you're thinking about that and you're worried about that right now, it's it's going to take up unnecessary mental energy and time. You can focus that mental energy and time on marketing, getting this business up and running and growing. Okay, so I would honestly, let's do another call, another podcast 6 to 12 months from now, and we can talk about those considerations.
Sure.
I don't think it's necessary right now, unless, I mean, you got to replace your salary, you got to replace your income first. So you
Right.
can't even consider hiring someone and paying them right now. You know what I mean?
Sure. Now, what about, so I've already got the space ready. I've made a space actually like a full office space in my home
Okay.
and with a separate entrance and everything. But I've got a good sized room and then I have a much smaller room. Like, should I maybe think about trying to rent part of that out or
Ah, to who? For what?
right? Well, I'm like somebody for lashes. I'm thinking what would be something I would want. But, you know,
Well, I mean, if you want a stranger in your house, then yeah, I
yeah.
guess. I don't.
That's a good point. That's a good point. Yeah, I had thought about that. I'm like, I've got a lock on it so my little children can't come in, but it's from the aesthetic or from the business side. So somebody from the business could easily walk right in. So,
Yeah, I would. I don't think that's necessary. Like, you can contract out someone to do things like that,
hmm
lashes or micro needling or whatever. You could contract out someone to do that, and they just come use your space, and it's a contracted kind of a thing. You take 25% or something like that. You could do that, and they're only there when you're there. You know what I mean? You
right.
could do that, but I would say that it's probably not going to be a necessary thing for a little while to do that. Like, what you need to do, you are in the baby steps here, okay? The thing
hmm
isn't even started yet. What you need to do is you just need to identify the handful of services that you want to do, okay? Identify those, offer them, get people in the door, start seeing patients, start doing things like that, and see what I guess like what the culture is of this. Okay, you will you will quickly find out what people want and what they don't care about. Okay, and what they're asking for. You will quickly figure that out in 3 to 6 months. Okay, it's impossible to know that right now until you actually begin doing it, because what you will find is that there ends up becoming a culture within your patients. You will begin identifying common themes and traits amongst your patients because word of mouth spreads. Okay. And generally, if someone likes you and they tell all their friends are similar to them in an extent, and then their friends are similar to them. So you'll develop this culture almost within your patients. And then at that point, you'll know kind of what it is that you need to offer. You might kill it with Men's Health. You're not going to know until you do it. Okay, maybe not. Maybe you treat more women. Who knows, right? But what if in 6 months you have 150 Men's Health testosterone replacement therapy patients and 20 female patients? You're gonna get someone to come in and do lashes,
No.
right? Like,
You're not even doing Botox anymore, huh?
yeah, you're probably gonna scrap the Botox or learn how to do it for men. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
the older men who, I mean, I'm thinking about getting Botox for these little crow's feet that I got from
I kind of wondered
smiling
if
and
you
being
already
in the
had
sun.
it like up here.
Yeah, like I got these marks here. I'm part Neanderthal, so I have this going on right here, you know. So
Uh,
yeah, like I thought about getting it myself. So
hmm
yeah. Anyways, though, yeah, it's one of those things where I'd say that try to keep this as simple as possible. Just a handful of services, see what hits, see what doesn't, because
Right.
you'd be amazed. Like oftentimes when someone starts a business, they scrap stuff. Well, that's not what people want, so I'm going to stop wasting my time on it, okay? That's happened to
Gotcha.
me with every single business I've ever started, all right? And sometimes the things that you offer really surprise you. You're like, I
hmm
wasn't expecting that to take off, but it did, okay? So you're just not going to really know. So what you're doing is you're throwing out you're throwing out a handful of things out there and you're seeing what's going to bite, all right? Because you're not going to know until you throw it out there and see what happens. And then whatever happens, happens. Maybe the aesthetics blows up. Maybe the HRT does. Maybe the weight loss does. Like you're just really just not going to know.
With that same idea, I was kind of wondering too, as far as advertising, at this point, I just made a Facebook page and I just made it a night or two ago. I've had a lot of people, making wonderful comments and things like that. But outside of Facebook, which obviously is free, wonderful, do you have any, do you think I should invest any money in advertising at this point? Or,
Um, yes and no. So, uh,
sorry, you
uh,
cut out a little. What'd you say?
I said that we have about 5 minutes, just FYI.
I'm
Okay.
sorry. Yeah.
Um, yeah, yeah. So, anyways, though, but what you need to do, okay, you're in a small town. All right.
hmm
So you don't need to market as much as someone in a big city. Like if someone was in Phoenix, as an example, all right? You're in a small town. Word gets out pretty quick amongst people, right? So your objective is to get as many people in the door as you possibly can in 3 or 4 months, and then you let word of mouth take over. Okay.
Okay.
Once word of mouth takes over, you do not need to advertise anymore. Okay. So it's getting that initial 100 patients is what the challenge is. All right. So what you need to do, the free things you can do is find local Facebook groups or communities online, okay, that are within the community. You get in there, you talk, you contribute, you become a community member within those little online communities, and people might ask medical questions. You answer the medical questions. People ask if you're seeing patients. Yes, I am. Give me a call. Okay. That's a great way to get some patients. It's free. Okay. You just got
Yeah.
to get online and put yourself out there. Okay. Not just making posts on your Facebook page. No one's going to see that. All right. Very few people will see that. You actually get in those Facebook groups. You got to get in those communities and stuff. Okay.
Okay.
And then you want to advertise somewhere local where everyone will see it. So you are in a town of 10,000 people. There's probably a few billboards in town that just about everyone drives by at least once a week, right?
Mm-hmm.
Spending a little money on that would probably be worth it. And you'd only do it for 3 months. Okay, that's it. All right. Don't waste your money on radio ads. Don't waste your money on anything like that. Okay. Don't waste your money on newspaper ads. No one reads that anymore. Okay. So, a billboard in a small town is pretty effective. If it's in a good spot. All right. I know someone when they started their practice in a small town, they literally printed off a bunch of flyers and just drove around and stuck it in people's mailboxes.
Nice.
Free.
Yeah.
Free. It just took their entire Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever. You, your kid, get in the car, print off 1,000 of them, and you drive around. Mailbox. And I tell you, you will get patients from that. You will.
That's awesome.
Like,
That's really outside the box thinking right there.
yeah. All right. This stuff is free. Doesn't cost you a dime. All right. The billboard's going to cost you a few $1,000. Okay.
Yeah.
But think about stuff like that. Your goal is just to put it in front of their face. That's it. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Figure out how to do that.
That's good. Sounds
So,
good.
Okay. Hate to cut you off a little early, but I got to get running. So,
That's okay.
Any other final questions?
Don't I get to ask you like a special question at the end?
Yeah, I was going to say, I was getting ready to ask you that one, but I just didn't know if you had any other questions in terms of the practice go or anything that's.
Well, for the sake of time, I'll just ask my final question. What's
Okay.
your favorite pizza?
Oh, favorite pizza.
Mm-hmm.
I just like a cheese pizza. Pretty.
How
like-
boring. Oh my
I
gosh.
know, like cheese pizza, but you dip it in ranch.
Oh,
yeah.
well, there's that. Yeah, basically you got cheese sticks with a little marinara and ranch.
That's pretty much exactly what it is. Now, if I need if I need protein, like let's say I worked out that day, I'd probably get a protein. So yeah, I know, kind of boring, but I've just always been a cheese pizza guy and just dip it in ranch. So
That's all right. Your kids will call you cheesy one day.
yeah,
be
yeah,
right.
that's right. So, anyways, my advice to you is get this up and running. Okay. Take the courses, take what I just said. Those are the most important things to really be thinking about right now. Okay. Take the courses, and then 3 or 4 months from now, if you want, we can do a follow-up, because you are going to run into problems and you are going to be kind of confused about some things. And that would be a perfect follow-up that we can do.
That sounds great. Thank you
Cool.
so much.
All right. Well,
All
it's
right.
good to talk to you.
Yeah. Have a great day.
All right. Take care. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to the show. Quick legal disclaimer. The content of this podcast is meant for informational and entertainment purposes only and should not be used as legal, financial, medical, regulatory, or practice-specific advice. For information pertaining to your specific legal, financial, medical, or practice-specific needs, please be sure to consult with your lawyer, CPA, medical director, and or your state's practice laws and the most up-to-date clinical guidelines. As always, do your due diligence when it comes to any information found online and in podcast. The content in this podcast is copyrighted by Galaxy Medical Southwest 2023 and cannot be duplicated, rebroadcasted, or reproduced without our written permission.